Automation of tasks or using AI in 3D was already here. It started many years ago, we just didn't know it. AI stands for artificial intelligence, meaning using a brain or an algorithm that does the thinking for us as 3D artists to achieve a certain task. If you are afraid of how AI is gonna automate and ruin everything, don't worry about it, because this is not gonna happen anytime soon. Artificial intelligence was used in creating 3D projects by many artists and studios before the wave of AI that we are going through right now and everyone is talking about. Let me explain. For example, UV mapping and UV packing is a very important part of the production workflow of any 3D artist or studio, who take advantage of this type of automation using algorithms that does the thinking for us. For instance, UV packing is boring and tedious, so instead of doing it manually, we have advanced algorithms like, for example, the one that comes with tools like UV Pack Master, in addition to other tools. This helps save a lot of time and headaches. As you can see, most people think of AI as something that helps you do something magically, and they expect it to look awesome and amazing in a few seconds. Like, for example, what we are seeing with Midjourney and its impact on 2D creative industries like concept art, illustration, manga, and so on. From what I can see, creating good work always requires good skills and time. AI in 3D can help you do great things, but not finished art projects, like I said, what we are seeing with 2D art generators. Another one of the ways AI or automation contributes to 3D is through procedural generation, where algorithms can create complex 3D landscapes and textures based on certain rules or parameters set by the artists. This method can produce vast amounts of unique content, such as terrains, buildings, foliage, and reducing the need for artists to work on each element manually, which is why a lot of people like it and use it a lot. If you're using a 3D software like Blender or Houdini, you are probably familiar with procedural texturing, modeling, and simulation. For example, some game development studios like Ubisoft are using it to create amazing game environments that can take weeks of manual labor, and they are doing it just in few days because it is much faster and easier. Also, rather than manually modeling complex structures, you can define a set of rules using geometry nodes to generate these structures procedurally. This is particularly useful for creating repeating or fractal-based patterns, maybe cityscapes, or any structure that follows a definable pattern. This is becoming especially popular in Blender, where many artists are using the power of automation in geometry nodes to create all sorts of different things. But for me personally, I think animation is gonna take advantage of the power of AI quite well, which will make the work of animators much faster. Talking about AI in animation, let me take a moment and tell you about motion. You know how AI can generate an image from a text prompt, or how it can assist you to fill the blanks between your key poses when animating in 3D using AI. But have you ever heard of an AI that generates animation from scratch based on any text prompt that you input? Well, Motion and its new 3D motion generator is a new revolutionary way to create animations, 3D animations, by simply inputting text. Even though the text to motion is still in alpha testing, the results are both impressive and frightening if you know what I mean. Alright, so how does it work? First, you need to join the Discord server and go to one of the channels where you will find what everyone else was doing with their prompts. You can start creating here, or if you prefer privacy, you can simply search for MotionBot in your direct messages, slide forward motion with one O, and click enter. Now you can write your prompt and then you choose the character and in place mode. When everything is in place, hit enter. And now look at this smooth animation. You can download the FBX file and import it to any 3D software of your choice, and refine it to use it instantly. And you can also download the result as a transparent background video. It is important to mention that this technology is still new, and Motion has a plan to expand it in the future to include long sequence motion generators, video to motion, motion to video, and so on. So if you are a 3D artist, animator, game developer, marketer, professional, or hobbyist, you can try Motion for free by following the link in the description. Rendering is also an area where AI plays a very important role, and it has been doing so for years. But no one was complaining about it, and I don't think anyone will, because it is a huge time and effort saver. Let's take AI denoising for example. It can cut the rendering speed significantly by denoising your renders in a smart way, allowing you to get something cool looking in a significantly less period of time. Some people in the 3D community think that we are doomed because AI can take the job of 3D artists, but this is far from the truth. From what I can see, it will take many years to create something cool looking like what 3D artists can create, especially in terms of assets and more especially in game development only using AI. Simply, I don't see it happening right now. In other fields like we said, such as UV mapping, texturing, proceduralism and animation, it is doing great, and it is expected to be able to do for us even more. But when it comes to creating game assets and stuff, I'm sorry, but it is not even close. As you may or may not know, the creation of cool looking 3D assets for game development is a complex task, and using AI will not make that easier. Many software try to make 3D assets using AI, but it is very limited, and its ability to create something creative is very obvious. If you want to create tables or chairs, be my guest. It will amaze you and you will think to yourself, wow, this is gonna be my savior, especially if you need to create a lot of assets. But if you veer off even a little bit into the uncharted territory and far from what the developers intended it to create, you will find yourself quickly disappointed. I mean greatly disappointed. So, what I'm trying to say is, creating complex game development assets or maybe VFX assets involves multiple dimensions of both technological development and artistic endeavor, and there has to be a balance there. While AI has made significant strides in various aspects of the 3D production pipeline and workflow, the process of generating 3D assets for games, especially those that meet high quality standards in the industry, still poses numerous challenges. First of all, I think the development of AI that is actually capable of understanding and generating intricate 3D models requires significant advancements in machine learning algorithms. Translation, you don't have to worry about your job or hobby being taken away by AI, because it is far away from becoming a true force in this field. This is the case because creating game-ready assets requires many disciplines such as modeling, creating clean topology, and in the case of high-quality organic models, you will need sculpting and retopology to make things look right topology-wise. In addition, you have to go through UV mapping, making different maps, and texture painting. As a result of this complexity, I mean many layers of complexity, I can only imagine that these algorithms need to comprehend not only the geometry, but also the artistry behind textures, lighting, and materials to make a 3D asset look cool and realistic. At least, we needed to match the standard of what we need to create video games. From what I can see, current AI can generate simple models and textures, but achieving a level of detail that matches human artists will take more sophisticated AI models and a whole lot of training. Big companies like Google, Nvidia, and other companies are trying their best to come up with something interesting, but it does not seem that they are impressing anyone anytime soon. But let's just say in a hypothetical situation, let's just say after a few years, AI will be good enough to create amazing production quality animation and especially game-ready assets for video games and VFX productions. Which, to be honest, I don't see happening anytime soon, as I said. But let's just say it will. If it happens, I think it will have a similar impact to what happened with the 2D community, whether it be concept artists, illustrators, and so on. The only difference is gonna be much bigger and is gonna be affecting much more people. It will probably cause some disruption in industries that use 3D artists and their services. But it will also allow the average 3D artist to create amazing projects in a fraction of the time. I'm talking about weeks or days, instead of taking months or years to finish projects. But the thing is, game development and VFX studios will benefit significantly from the integration of AI tools into their workflows for several reasons, especially compared to the average 3D artist working independently on small projects. As a start, the scale of production is vastly different, and in game development and VFX studios, they often work on large-scale projects that require the creation of vast amounts of content, and this will take a lot of time, effort, and money for companies. This content not only needs to be of high quality, but also consistent and delivered with tight deadlines. And if you know anything about AI, it doesn't waste time. It is super fast. AI tools can process and generate complex 3D models, environment, and textures much faster than human artists if it will be able to do so at a certain point in the future. And most certainly is gonna be disruptive for many industries like game development, VFX, animation, marketing, advertising, you name it. But if I know something about humanity, you cannot stop the wheel of progress. I hope you guys found this video useful and informative. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. You can also take a look at some of our previous videos. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.